So Vanilla Tweaks just added a mod where Husks drop sand, and so of course we needed to turn that on the server and make a farm for it. And I haven't seen anybody else make a farm yet or put out a video on it yet, so figured I do that with this one. This isn't going to be a tutorial video, but if you've ever seen a mob farm, this is basically it, but spread out vertically. Uh, or not vertically, instead of vertically being horizontal, because husks need direct sky to spawn. You can't put glass over it or it won't spawn. My little waiting platform here is in between the platforms, so it's not actually covering the platforms. But if we fly on down here, you could see that it's just a bunch of individual platforms with little etho hopper clocks underneath and pools of water to collect from these. Oh, it's happening. These 3x3 sets of platforms per a module, and then I've got 9 modules here total. Um, I'll go back up in a second. And then under here, I just made a collection system of rail cars that go to a singular collection place where I have a collection system that'll collect this all up, sort it, put it into uh, shulker boxes, and then uh, craft a new shulker to keep filling these up. But you can see I'm getting a decent amount of sand. I seem to get, um, I think it's around, I think each one of these modules does about half a stack of sand a night. So, 9 modules times half a stack, and then over, a full real night, I think I get a little over two. There are a little over 2 shulkers or a full chest worth of sand. So not the fastest thing, and you need to be on a server where people aren't sleeping for that to work, but hopefully you're in place for that. This is just crafting up all my bones into bone blocks so I don't have to go do it. But let's go into free cam so you can see a little bit better what's happening here. So, just your typical mob farm, and actually let me fly back up here so you can actually see it with decent spawning rates. And this is just my little protective platform. Again, the glass counts as sky cover. Apparently I can't talk and land at the same time. Um, but if we fly on down, you'll start to see everything spawning. This seems to be as fast as it goes. Ice doesn't make mobs go any faster in water. And I could have made this one giant module, but figured it's better to have less space for them to travel from the edges down into the water. And it's just campfires going into hoppers here as the kill chamber. Probably could have put this higher in the sky. I kind of lucked out, and there's not any real cave networks directly below this. It's way down here before that hits, so not getting any mobs spawning underneath. But you could always build this much higher in the sky and avoid that also. So conditions for Husk needs to be the desert. It needs to be nighttime, and it needs to be open sky, or they don't spawn. And so that's why this thing has to be so freaking big to do it. But you can do it with just one. But like I said, over a Minecraft night, you're only going to get about half a stack of sand out of it. So I wanted more than that per night, um, so that it's generating more. And this seems like a decent size. I might be able to go like another row of these bigger, but I don't know if I would be in spawn radius still. Um, so glass block over the dispensers so they don't spawn on here. They were sometimes spawning directly on this block and then they want to get pushed off. You can see just have an etho hopper clock under here, and I think I put in 24 items in each one for the timing. That gives them just enough time to push them off the side and back. There might be a better way to do it, but I couldn't think of anything that would fit relatively under this platform. Um, the glass is just here for something for me to stand on as I set this up. You don't really need that if you want to do it with scaffolding. You just need the etho hopper clock set up. That's going into an observer that detects when the redstone block moves in front of it, that powers this block, that powers the water dropper. But yeah, then everything just goes down in here. And originally, when I first made this, I had a set of chests that it was going into to collect, and I decided I didn't want to keep running between 9 places to go do it. So I built a rail system to do it. Uh, this works okay. Occasionally minecarts get stuck just from being loaded out of chunks, and I have to go knock them back. Uh, I can't remember what tutorial I looked this up, but I looked for a minecart hopper loader, and so these will load. These will take off either when this chest is empty, or they're about like under half full. So um, there's some items in this chest that output a signal. If this was all the way full, this would have to be all the way full to go off. So I don't quite want that. I want less because there might be a chicken and feathers that drop, and it's going to take a long time to get a full stack of either of those. So it could be loaded with a full stack of other blocks, but the chicken feathers, or sometimes a raid spawns up there and I get ominous potions and things like that. So there might be single item things or really rare drops. Yeah, I think I've seen occasionally wandering traders get knocked off during the day, and so like the leather and the leads from the llamas end up in there too. So uh, that less than half in here seems to send them off and going, and that the drops aren't so frequent that this ever overflows. So even if they're going back and forth a lot, it seems to be fine. Um, and this is just a thing I figured out of, okay, so we have sorting system. So as it, all the drops, whoops, end up kind of individually going into each little area here. These are just hopper unloaders that I figured out I could fit in kind of vertically like this. Um, Going into Shulker loaders that are underneath. I realized I could put a crafter on here just full of Shulker shells that gets powered the same time as the Shulker loader happens. So every time it unloads, it's creating a new Shulker to go into this chest to go back into the system. And the only thing was making sure with how compact this is having this one little extra piece of redstone dust. This doesn't go anywhere. This just stops the redstone from plugging into this hopper next to it and locking it from the next module over. So as long as you have that little extra chain there, it all seems to load. But this is a pretty standard shulker loader system and item filter right by each other. So the item filters right here, pulling from the hoppers, goes over into the shulker loader module right here. This is just a redstone signal going to the comparator so that when this is full, it unloads and powers the piston to knock it out. It's on a non-full block so that it goes into the hoppers and collects down here, and a new one gets spit out at the same time. Just a second after, that's why that's on 4 ticks rather than 1. And that also powers that crafter. So composters just to help reduce lag. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else crazy here. It's pretty simple. It's just a lot of building. But hey, renewable sand. You don't have to go clear out deserts anymore every time you need sand. And if you're into making TNT, it's great because you're getting TNT or gunpowder just about the same amount you're getting sand. So you could pretty easily go craft these up into uh, TNT blocks if you want. You'll have more arrows than you ever know what to do with. If you have a villager trading farm, you go trade off all this rotten meat. Uh, Plenty of strings for tripwires, bows and arrows. I've made a dispenser crafter, so I've got a nice little setup that crafts bows and arrows that then goes into crafting dispensers, so I don't ever have to make those again manually. So it's a great little farm for just collecting all that kind of basic stuff and getting what you need. But hopefully, some other people take this on. And again, this is not just vanilla of a Minecraft. If you try to build this in vanilla Minecraft, you will not get sand. The rest of this will work, but you could build a vertical version, just layers and layers of this, and you'll get all the other mobs. But if you're running vanilla tweaks and you've turned on the Husk mod, so that Husk drops sand now, every Husk should drop 2 sand, I think. Um, there's maybe some way to build a killing chamber that might be better, in which case they could drop up to 4 with looting 3 on your sword. But I couldn't think of any good way to sort that would be any faster, and I just like the idea of just be able to, at the end of the day, fly up here and just AFK and have a bunch of mobs spawn while I'm away at the computer and show back up and have a chest full of sand. So um, hopefully for people on vanilla tweaks, uh, they're able to replicate this, and maybe somebody could think of something better, but that whole thing of needing open sky and needing nighttime makes that complicated, but um, it's not. I don't feel like this is game breaking, right? Like it's not like a raid farm where you're like, oh my God, we got piles and piles of sand. Like, no, I have to camp here a long time to get as much as I've gotten, but um, easier doing it AFK than, you know, mining out an area. Now, like I did clear out a lot of this area just to get it level, and I'll tell you, like doing that by hand, if you want to spend the time, it is much, much faster than waiting for this. You'll get boxes pretty quick doing it by hand if you want to go clear out a desert, but I don't know, sometimes you just like the terrain and want to leave it the way it is and not decimate and strip mine a whole area over and over and over just because you want to make some TNT or something. So, or rockets or whatever. So, well, I guess you don't need that sand for rockets, but TNT and glass or stuff like that if you're not doing villager trading farms. So, anyway, just thought I'd show this off. Maybe somebody else finds this handy and can replicate it. I will say these are pretty easy to build. I start with a little uh, space in here, however how you want to build it, and then here's the border with it, and these are half slabs right here. These are full slabs in the corners, and then you're just going 7 out, 1 up, 7 out, 1 up, 7 out. I use slabs for a lot of this just to save on materials, but the border ones are full blocks. And then it's 4 levels of that. You start with a cross, uh, building out all those ways, and that's pretty easy to figure out. And then you're just building diagonal across. And if you start from the inside, it's pretty easy to fill that in without having to put blocks to border the edges. The water, full stream here, and then I'm doing every other one because if I do every one, it starts making full water sources, and then this all fills in here, and we don't want that. We want to make sure that mobs, wherever they fall, will push in, but they don't seem to be landing on the glass here. There might also be a way to push this closer, so I don't even need this. I could just use the water blocks for both sides if I pushed it maybe one block in closer together, but I don't know if that would make that smaller. Um, but this is how I built it, and I was going to rebuild it to figure that out. Um, let's see, is there anything else? So yeah, anyway, that's how I build this base platform, put the water up, and then before I put the water up, um, put scaffolding up to here. Again, these don't have to be any sort of set height. You just need enough room for them to clear underneath this platform. And again, you probably want to build this whole thing up high enough that you're not spawning mobs in any caves down below. As much as possible, check the area, see if you have a giant cave network. Again, I lucked out, and there's kind of one big cave for the most part, but it's pretty far down. It was easy to light up that bit, and I haven't seen anything else spawning from where I am up on that platform where I'm near 128 blocks away. Um, so building the rest of this anyway. I'll do scaffold after I build the platform. I'll build scaffolding up the center, get up to here, uh, build this platform out. I tend to just put a temp block in for the dropper to start with, but same thing: 7 out, 7 out, 7 out, 7 out, and then diagonals. You just fill in those strips, and you just keep building those. These are 5 apart, so I'll build the center one first, and then I'll build a cross of 5 and 5 across there with a different block. And I go do that on all corners, and then I build uh, platforms on each point of those 5 stars off of those 4 points, and then I know I kind of have everything. And then I'll knock that temp block out there. I'll go down here, build the etho hopper clock, put my glass down. Um, Actually, the easier thing is come down here and build scaffolding up to the center block, and then climb that, knock 3 blocks down, and start putting glass on top of the scaffolding there where we have a 2 space gap. It looks a little bit more, but it's because these are half slabs. And then just etho hopper clock. Go look up a tutorial if you don't know how to do it. 24 items in there for the timing. And I think that's everything. So not quite a tutorial, but hopefully you kind of see how to build all this and pause and go look at stuff and figure it out. Again, just item sorters packed right by Shulker loaders, and nothing too fancy there. It was just figuring out how to fit it all in a kind of 3 by 3, well, not 3, 3 wide space back through here. But no, I'm pretty happy with this so far, and I don't ever need to go dig for sand again unless I just want to clear out that area for a different reason. But hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully some people get some insight on that, and yeah, uh, hopefully somebody can build this now on their server.